Sable, what's wrong tonight? Come on, you can come up for a minute. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ugh. Sable, for some reason today, Holly said she's been anxious and she laid on top of Holly all day long. And now Holly's gone up to bed. So Sable keeps coming down and climbing up on me. It's almost like she senses there's something evil in the house, or she just wants attention. She's really going for it tonight, though, folks. So you're getting Sable early. There she is, the beautiful girl. Sable, now are you going to let me talk to people? Huh? What is Hi, Ethan. Hi, Mark. Mark, you weren't here last night. You were noticeably missed. Come on. Go lay in your chair, honey. Oh. Go lay in your chair. Go ahead. I think she senses there's something. She went and laid in her bed. How about that? You were sick. Well, we're glad you're better. Hi, Sam. So, anyway, so what's going on in the world? We had quite an interesting day, and you know what? If I'm being honest with you, and I don't like to typically get into political. This is my smoking jacket, by the way, if anybody's wondering why it's got holes and shit in it. I don't typically put in order, and it was fun. Any word on when the next Bad Ben will be out? The next Bad Ben will be out July 1st. Will Ben come to DVD? Ben has been on Blu-ray. Good evening, Damon. Fender, Holly and I are doing fine, thank you. Hey, Brandon, where you been? I don't typically like to talk politics, and I tend to lean one way. But look, I'll be honest with you. I will vote Republican or Democrat if the candidate's a good candidate. Okay, so that's where I stand. In fact, last election, even though there wasn't much to vote for last election, I split my ticket. It was mostly local offices because I research candidates. Most people don't research candidates. But nothing is getting done. And you know what? It's our fault. Because we keep voting these ass clowns in. Either party, by the way. I mean, they just don't cooperate with each other. They stick to a specific ideology. They're not doing what's best for the country. They're doing whatever their party, but there are obvious things that the other side might like that you don't like. The last time we were together, unfortunately, as a nation, was September 11th in 2001. That's when the whole country threw everything aside and stood together. But too bad none of what are good. My movies, thank you, Evil. Hey, hope you are well. Oh, were you talking about my movies or were you talking about politics? Because Evil, I've seen you before and you're not normally. Oh, okay. Now I see your comments further down. They're just like, it's just disgusting. And let me tell you, if people were to ask me, do I like Donald Trump? I'm going to tell you no, but it's not for the reason why you may think. I live right outside of Atlantic City, and he had casinos in Atlantic City. And basically, when he filed his business bankruptcies, it destroyed a couple, it destroyed people I knew. And in addition, right, who wrote that? The whole government needs to be cleansed and replace better people, Corrigan. You're absolutely right. And that's what they need to do. I haven't gotten my no, it's sundown tomorrow night. I haven't fully reached it. No. People have helped me quite a bit. We're getting there. Still I always got to sit here, and it's always something. But and Jeffrey Epstein, that whole thing, who knows what's going on with that, and people they're just when I'm just so disgusted right now with look, you know what? You know what's nice? It's nice to come in here into this room and talk with you guys. Now it's pretty much a one-sided chat. You'll make comments, you'll ask questions, I'll answer them. But it's just it's Sam, there's Sleepy Joe, and then there's the other side too has got, who do they got? It's just, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in office. Shit ain't getting done, and we're allowing it to happen because we keep voting the same ass clowns in. That's right. It's the two-party system. Former governor of New Jersey, Christine Whitman, is supposedly starting another party, but who knows? She had her wacky moments too. But as much as I personally was not a fan of Donald Trump, personally, has nothing to do with the fact that he's a Republican. It has to do with the fact that when he was here in my community as a businessman, his practices harmed a lot of businesses. And by practices, I mean not paying contractors and for whatever reason. But Julia. That's right, Kaylee. They're both a mess. And yet, senators are voted for every 6 years, congressmen every 2 years, president every 4 years. So basically, in 6 years, they could all be gone. In 2 years, in 6 years, it could totally be different people, but we won't do it. People go in, and because they consider themselves a Republican, they vote the straight Republican ticket. Because they consider themselves a Democrat, they vote the straight Democrat ticket. There are independent people, like I think Bernie Sanders, he's independent. But whatever, no, that's not coffee. That's caffeine-free Diet Coke. 20 cups of coffee a day is better for me probably than one glass of them. But it's just, Ethan, I don't know what the answer is. I look at the people in the party that are younger. You know what I would like? I would like a 35-year-old president. Isn't that the minimum to be president? I would like a 35-year-old president that his actions are going to affect his life for the next 40, 50 years. Oh, Lee, you're absolutely right. They don't foster better candidates. Prior to 2016, I voted since 1984, I guess. Prior to 2016, I would have a candidate I would vote for. Let's just talk president, for instance. I would have a candidate I would vote for president. And if the other candidate won, I could live with it. Back when Obama versus who was Obama the first time? McCain and then Romney, right? Back when Obama ran, if Romney won or if McCain had won, I could have lived with it. It was just in 2016, our choices were horrible. I think. I Yeah, I'm going to write in Bad Ben for the next candidate. It's just and anymore. I used to joke about watching Parliament on C-SPAN, over in England, how they yell at each other as they're talking, and they were so unruly. That's us now. That's us. This stuff with this with these school shootings and all, I thank God I've never had children. Who was my favorite president? That's like saying, that's like having leprosy and saying, which is your favorite sore? They've all been full of shit, basically. It's just, I don't know. You're right. Julia, prior to that time when President Obama was giving the State of the Union and somebody yelled out, "You lie," I never heard that happen in any of our state of unions. I never saw that happen. People, there would sometimes be some groans, some moans. Never heard that happen. And it just, the guy yelling at Obama, "You lie," Nancy Pelosi tearing up Trump's speech behind him. They're all assholes. Presidential activity, yeah. I thought Julia was telling me to shut up. Well, part of the reason for birth rate going down, I mean, if I had a guess, let's say I was a younger man. Let's say I was 30 years younger. I would definitely be, pressed I would be concerned about bringing children into this world. And I have two nephews that have young families, babies. I have a niece that's going, I'm sure in the next few years will start a family. She's been with the same young man for, I don't know, 6-7 years or more. But just if you're having kids nowadays, I mean, that's what we're put on earth for, is to procreate, to make more babies. And, when you talk to parents, somebody that worked for me years ago said, I've realized when I watched my first son born, that was why I was put on earth, to make another person. I believe a lot of people feel that way, but I just right now, I got to tell you, I worry so much about these damn animals that if I had a kid that was out of my sight, I'd be petrified. And the stuff like this, these school shootings, I don't understand what look, if you want to ask me about guns, I own a gun for self-protection. If I need, we're out here in the woods. If I needed it, I have it, even though I just so happen to live 2 miles from the police station. But I have it. But this having to have assault rifles and the Second Amendment as it was written was never had this in mind. I don't care. Nobody's ever going to change my mind on that. But I don't understand what the problem is with the background checks. Why there's opposition to that. You're never going to get rid of them all, but why there's opposition to it. And my cousin would say to me, if we took away guns from people, the only people that would have guns would be criminals. Well, they all came from somewhere. So stolen or whatever, they all came from somewhere. And it's just when I see these people walking into, and we don't have this in New Jersey, but when I see these people walking into like a convenience store or a coffee shop and they've got a rifle strapped to their back, I can think of only one thing: small dick. That's the only thing I can think of. But this concealed carry or open carry, I'm okay with that. Because look, you run into assholes in life. But these machine guns, and I know they're not fully automatic, but you got like these, you know, I saw, and you guys, we talked about this the other night. I saw, did you see that video of the children's classroom? It's a room, it's 2 bulletproof walls on tracks, and it pushes back into the corner, flat against the wall each way, and then you grab the corner. Look, this jacket's disgusting. I apologize. It pulls out, locks in place, and you get inside and you can lock the door from the inside, and it's a bulletproof classroom. Can you fucking believe it that we're having to make bulletproof classrooms? But that, and they talk about, somebody said, oh, they came through the open side door. The video of that girl the other day, or she happened, I think her pronouns were recently, she was going by he, but that person the other day, they didn't walk through an open side door. The video shows they blasted the glass out of the door. The fact that we have to, and what the fuck is it with targeting schools? Now, part of it's bullying, but when these are kids doing the school shooting, young people doing the school shooting, I gotta ask myself, what example are the adults setting for them when you see these politicians screaming at each other and talking the garbage they talk? You would think our country would learn after one school, but now Ethan, I hear you. You know, I guess if they're not going to work it out somehow, I guess what they need to do is come down to, you know, making the walls of schools out of concrete, and the hallways and everything out of concrete, and the doors, steel doors without a window. I hate to say it, but kids now have to go to school. I mean, one of the plus sides of the pandemic when everybody was home was there were no school shootings. But everybody's so angry. I mean, they're angry. I saw a guy walk up to Walgreens, and for whatever reason, when a place is called Walgreens Pharmacy, as far as I'm concerned, when it's open, the pharmacy should be open. But the pharmacy, Walgreens opens at like the one on one corner down here by me. There's 2 very close to each other. It opens at 6 a.m. I don't think the pharmacy opens till 10. and then it closes at like 8, and the Walgreens is open till midnight. Now, there are 24-hour pharmacies around. There's one that I know of, a CVS in the city nearby. But this guy walks up to Walgreens. It's like 8:30, and he sees the hours. Well, actually, I was walking in when he was walking out. What the fuck? He turns, he looks at the hour. What the fuck? The pharmacy doesn't open till 10? He was just so angry. Now, I understood kind of like, yeah, 10 o'clock is stupid, but he was just so angry. That pharmacy is open. It's not even open Saturday and Sunday, which is stupid to me. But one of the things I don't understand is businesses that open at 9. They should open at 7 or 8, or they should open at like 2 in the afternoon, because still this country is a country where most people work like 8 to 4, 8 to 4:30, 9 to 5:30, 10 to 6 or something like that. But when a store doesn't open till 10 o'clock, who are you opening for at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday? Sam's putting on a powdered wig and could blow a golf ball side. Sam, you're getting a little into this. Hi, Annie Carol. Oh, Annie, don't open up a firestorm with that. Yay until look. Right, Kaylee. We had a J.C. Penney here when I was, and I don't know if Lee is still in here or not, but prior to J.C. Penney being out at what we called the Shore Mall, was called the Shore Mall at the time. I think it was Grant's department store. And I don't know, when I remember when I was 16, I applied for a job at J.C. Penney's and Bradley's. And I got called by both the same day. And you're going to laugh at me when I tell you this. I took the job at Bradley's because J.C. Penney was on the other side of a 4-lane highway, and we had traffic circles at that time. We don't have traffic. Well, we might have some. There's one out and going towards Williamstown, I think, or towards Vineland. But we don't have traffic circles anymore. But I was a new driver. I was like 17 years old, and I didn't. Thank you, Lee. I didn't want to make that cross to the Shore Mall. So I took the job at Bradley's, which for me, I love that job, by the way. I could leave my house, make a left and a right, and I'd be at work. I mean, it was about a 10-minute drive, but still it was very convenient. But J.C. Penney's was here since I was at least 12 years old, till I was 55. Sears was here my entire life, as far as I knew, as far as I remember. We don't have a Sears or a J.C. Penney anymore. In fact, our mall is a ghost town. And it's just, there's nothing to go there for. I've been in that mall once, probably in the past 10 years. And you know where I go now? You know what I like now? I like Target. I go to Walmart a lot. I have family that's not a big fan of Target. I think they're not a big fan of the new Target we have in Summers Point. They used to have, well, what happened to Bradley's was Bradley's bought, hi, Laurie. Now, I haven't seen the Dead Mall series, but I've seen some freaking internet stories where they'll show you flip through picture after picture of old vacant malls. And it's sad. There was Clover, and there was a store called J.C. Ward, I think. Anyway, Bradley's retail, back during the Reagan administration, the economy began to improve. People started spending a lot more money in retail. It was before the internet, as we know today, in internet shopping. And the people started buying like retail. So retail started expanding, and Bradley's bought Jefferson Ward was the name of the company. And they made this expansion, and 5 years later, they were out of business. Not 5 years, it took a little longer than that. But I remember, Christine, I see what you're saying about malls are going the way of the dinosaur. I remember not too long ago, hi, Cyber, reading an article that malls are going to be gone. And strip malls are going to be the thing. Well, across the street from our dead mall is this mall, which has got, it's an outdoor, you park your car, you walk in the store. But every one of them, maybe there's a for rent sign here or there, but you got Target, PetSmart, Best Buy, BJ's, Staples, Kohl's, I've never been in a Kohl's, all those things. Ew. I loved working at Bradley's. I loved working retail back then. The Willowbrook Mall, Menlo Park, Bridgewood are still packed and full of stores. Well, we used to have the Shore Mall was packed, loaded with businesses, and 5 miles down the road opened the Hamilton Mall. When the Hamilton Mall opened, Sears and J.C. Penney moved out there. A Macy's opened, first one. And Macy's, I don't see how they even stay in business. But they're the one that's still there. J.C. Penney's gone. Sears is gone. Across the street from the Shore Mall has now 85% of it's been torn down because of taxes. So one of the dogs is laying over there on her bed, and the other one's upstairs laying on the couch. You're welcome, Christine. The Valentine's messages were a blast to do. I'm going to do Easter ones too. I'll announce them this weekend for anybody. Oh, she heard us talking about her. For anybody that's going to want them. I don't know how many people want an Easter one, but I'll be my old cranky self for you. We keep them cheap, $25. By the way, is everybody a ham person? I don't know where this tradition started in my family, but she's went upstairs already. My mother used to make for Palm Sunday Cornish game hens. I don't know where that ever came from. But ham for Easter. And if I can find it, some good potato salad. We got a place. I got talking about bagels last week, and everybody suddenly wanted a bagel. But we have a bagel place that they make tuna fish and egg salad, and that's off the hook good. But a thing of tuna fish, I don't know how big of a container that is. I guess a pint's like that, so that might be a quart. But like $16? Isn't that a lot of money? You know what I like in the summer is clams. And we've got a place right down. When I was a kid, we had a place right in town too. but we got a place not far from here, and we'll go there and get clams. And I found the best way to cook clams. First of all, you can cook clams in the microwave, and they come out fantastic. The water that's in the shell, or water, depending on where you're from in the country, cooks them, they pop open. But the problem is the smell, and it makes a mess inside your microwave. But there's also, and I found this way to do it, and I'm telling you, it'll change your life. If you got a gas grill, like, a barbecue grill, get a tin foil or one of those aluminum foil trays, or you could use one that you reuse. Hey, Felix, I did get your video last night, overnight. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I got it from you. Fried clams I love too. Oh, and you know what? You're going to laugh at me. I like that Mrs. Paul's fried clam strips, the breaded clam strips. But anyway, you put a foil tray on your gas grill and just throw the clams in there. Shut the lid. 5 to 8 minutes later, they're all open. Moist, everything. Hi, Andrea. It's the easiest way to cook them. I like those clam strips. Like I said, Mrs. Paul's. I also, deviled clams. My mother had a recipe for deviled clams. Oh my God. I got to check with my family and see if they still got that. But the deviled clam, even those frozen, I don't know if you got them where you live, but those frozen deviled clams, where they're just they're whatever. The clams are ground up and it's with spices and all, and they're frozen and you can take them out and cook them. I like them. Put a dollop of cocktail sauce on top. Coconut shrimp's not my favorite, but they're okay. I like the breaded shrimp too. Scallops. I like scallops. And there's a woman, she's a friend of my sister's mother-in-law. She's a friend of hers. Well, she's actually related to my sister also. But we were cooking scallops here, and I guess you mothers learned to do this. She would reach in the pan with her hands and flip the scallops. I'd be sitting there with a fork or tongs flipping them over, but she's reaching in there just flipping them over by hand. My grandma's cousin used to make a Jello mold with Spam and peaches mixed together in a mold. Spam. I had fried Spam before. It's not bad. You know what though? I like, but I kind of am off. Like on right now was salmon. I used to like, there was this place down here called the Waterfront Bar and Grill, or Waterfront. I know this part of the country says water because we're Hicks, but other parts of the country say water. They used to make these tuna steaks. You give them on a roll. Oh, crab cakes. Ugh, they're so good. Lump crab. Ugh, so good. And people bitch about this, but the lump crab in a can, I love that shit. Grilled salmon's okay. It's just right now I'm kind of over it for a little while. I like egg salad. I like tuna salad. I like chicken salad. I like chicken cheesesteaks. Man, I'm on a food kick tonight, aren't I? But this week coming up, um, Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday is my favorite time of year. I don't know why it is. Christmas is awesome, but it's just there's something. Maybe it has to do with being born and raised and going to church every Sunday, but it just seems so. I don't know. First of all, it's like spring, summer's just around the corner, and it just seems so spiritual. 11-pound brisket. Mm. You know what we used to, I told you guys the other night, and you've heard me say this before. We used to do turkey for Thanksgiving, turkey for Christmas, ham for New Year's Day, and ham for Easter. But not this past year, but the year before, my neighbors next door were away. They own a house in Florida, and they called me to say that the prime rib is on sale at this store, one per person. Could I pick them up? One. So I said to Holly, I said, how would you like to do prime rib for Christmas instead of turkey? And she goes, yeah. So I went and got one. She went and got one. I got one for my neighbors. She got one for us. And so for the past 2 years, we've done prime rib and horseradish and some fixins and all that. A foot of snow before Easter. Well, this isn't everywhere around here, but we have had like an extremely mild winter. The first week of December, it was in the single digits here, and that any year is very rare for us. But we will go through a period, specifically January and part of February, in which we will hit like 20 degrees a couple times, 25 degrees. It'll snow, it'll be freezing and miserable. Not this year. We've had days in the 70s, days 30 degrees above normal. And it's like Saturday. Today, the high was maybe 50. But in Saturday, day after tomorrow, it's supposed to be 75 degrees and raining. And then you've got California, got snow, Northern California. Ugh. Food, weather, what the hell else? And the amount of flooding in California, if California did more reservoir building, they would probably, I don't know. I'm not an engineer. Andrea, there's this place that down in a city called Wildwood here, and it's called Laura's Fudge. And Laura's Fudge, they make chocolate and shit, but I used to get, when the family used to all get together on Easter, I used to go to the dollar store and get cheap baskets and the cheap grass. And I would get these, they made buttercream and coconut, but buttercream eggs. And they made these chocolate rabbits. So I would get a chocolate rabbit and a buttercream egg. And the chocolate rabbit would be a whole rabbit. And by whole, I mean front and back. Or you could buy just a half, which was the face of the chocolate rabbit. Well, not to be cheap, but yeah, Jared. I know there's so much water out there from this water that it would be nice if they held on to some of it for when the drought comes. But anyway, these chocolate rabbits, I started getting half of them, which if you imagine you got the tail of the rabbit and the head of the rabbit like this, well, you could also just get the face of the rabbit, which was this, And I started getting them because the chocolate rabbits were so thick you couldn't bite through them, where the half a rabbits you can. We have these, but Laura's makes these buttercream eggs that were just, oh, they're out of this world. And I'll tell you, after getting one of them, you know how you'll have like Lindt chocolates, and there was this place, a guy my dad used to work for when I was a kid, used to send us this box of, hi Tiffany, of Ostrov's chocolates. I don't know if anybody's ever had Ostrov's chocolates. They're from Pennsylvania, I think. Oh my God, they were off the hook. But this place, Laura's, just, they normally will take an open for Easter. I mean, like leading up to Easter. And then they close. They go to Florida for like 2 weeks or something and then come back to open up for the summer. And, you know, talking about, Eileen, when you talk about buying your Easter candies today, I've asked you this before. Is it Aileen or Eileen? Just give me an A or an E and I'll figure it out in your answer. But the stores are full of candy. Road trip to Laura's this weekend. Ugh, it's so good. I got to even check. So it's like Eileen, but with an A. Okay. C's buttercream eggs. But the stores today are still full of candy. But you know what I got, which I also like? You're going to laugh at me. Whoppers malted mothball eggs. Leaving DC was excellent. I didn't know it. I didn't watch Leaving DC until probably 2017 or 2018. And I wound up watching it because you guys in one of these chats suggested it. And I loved it. I'd love to go there. We have Rosalind's Candy nearby, and it's amazing chocolate. Ugh. The malted, my blood sugar's been up crazy today because I ate a whole bag of them. I also got I like the Starburst jelly beans. Hell House was excellent. I haven't watched past the first one yet, though. Somebody keeps telling me to watch the Blackwell Ghost. Haven't watched that yet. What I want to, when I'm in movie producing mode, like I am right now, it's tough for me to sit still and watch a movie for a couple hours because I've got so much to do. But the Knock at the Cabin, that looks good. I think we did watch the first Blackwell Ghost. Megan's good, if any of you haven't caught that yet. It's on Peacock, not Peacock. Peacock? Yeah, it is. And Hell House was really good. It was really popular. I haven't seen 65. Knock at the Cabin's available. I want to watch that. What was it? Something we watched recently. There's just, you know, I say there's some good things to see out there, but oh my God, there's so much shit too. I remember as a kid having, you know, you had a TV where you had to go like this to change the channel on it. And we had stations 2 through 13. And 2 was weather, and 13 was just like a community page. And so that gave us channels 3 through 12. 12 was like PBS or something. And 11, 9, 8 was some bullshit. I don't remember. But 11, 9, 7, 5 were like regional stations. And then 3 and 4 were both NBC. And we always had something to watch. Now there's 100 stations, more than 100, and you can't find shit. Part of the reason is because I remember I used to love getting TV Guide every week. Loved it. But now, you know what I found a trick though? If you have a Roku and you go to search on the Roku, because there's so many streaming channels, and you may go to like Voodoo Fandango and pay for a film that in fact happens to be free on Peacock or Paramount, but you don't know it because you just, we used to, prior to all these different streaming channels, we used to go to Voodoo every Friday to see what's new, and we'd rent a movie and watch it. But anymore, you don't know where to find it. So I found, though, if you go to Roku and you go to the search and you type in the name of the movie you want to watch, it'll bring up the various channels where it's available and the price. I haven't seen Hellbender. I did see, well, no, is Scream 6 the latest one? I saw the Scream before that. I didn't watch Drag Me to Hell. I don't think I did. Sweet Tarts, they were awesome. I forgot about them. I had them. Hello, Monique. Sweet Tarts were awesome. Man, tonight it's already been an hour. Well, I didn't get on till like 5 after 9. But tonight flew. You guys keep me so entertained. So I'm going to wrap up here in a couple minutes. There's we're filming tomorrow night. Scariest movie I've ever seen, hands down, The Exorcist. That scared the shit. And when I was a kid, there was the original. I've told this story, but Night Stalker with Gavin McLeod. No, not Gavin McLeod. You know who I mean, the father from A Christmas Story. That was great. Late dinner. It is late. Well, it depends. What coast you live on? Waldorf Estates House. Darren McGavin. Thank you. That's his name. But that one, the original, I don't know if it was the pilot with like the vampire and all, that scared the shit out of me. I remember the first movie back before there was HBO and Showtime and all these things. The first, and this was regional, there were those black boxes you sat on top of your TV, and it had like a knife switch. You'd have to put the TV on channel 3 and flip it over to get the premium channels. It was Prism, and I remember this so fondly. We watched, it was the summer. We had a TV, and I think we thought we were a big deal because it was 27 inches, and we watched Jaws. And I remember watching that. Poltergeist was good, the originals. So anyway, folks, I am wrapping up here. Thank you tonight. Was awesome. Lots of chat, lots of people, and an hour flew by. So I don't think I'll be on tomorrow night because Scott and I are filming. And this is how I sit when I edit, by the way. And anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. And I'll probably see you Saturday. See you. Love you.